boys and girls, welcome back to another video. What I want to address is a couple things. Really, this has to do with guys that are getting into the business, and it's what I call risk mitigation or risk management. So there's certain cars that are notorious for certain problems. So if you do not address that problem with the customer before you even touch that car, there has the potential for problems. We do not want problems. We want to engineer problems out of the equation. So I'm going to bring you into this Mercedes and show you a very common problem that is common, not to overuse that word, but on a few of the cars, particularly Mercedes-Benz, BMW, and what it is. Well, let me bring you and I'll show you what it is. Here we have, for example, the steering wheel of this Mercedes-Benz. Along here they have this material that feels very nice, looks kind of cool. It's a satin type of finish. But what happens is it begins to blister up and peel away. You'll notice that this mute button for when you're using the telephone, you can easily mute it right there. But it's being worn away right in that little edge there, which is different than the material over here. For example, what do I mean by that? Why is this blistering up here and peeling away, but it's not doing it right on this little dial here? It's actually being worn away on the very little tip. You can see that little white mark. Why is it being worn away? So does that mean it's different material? Possibly. This is what is a problem with detailing, is that you think you know what you're dealing with, but often, even though it looks and appears the same, it may in fact be a different type of material or a different type of process. What does it have to do with your customer? This. Let's say it's not as pronounced as this is right here. I'm pretty sure that any driver of their car would look at this and say, okay, I've got a problem. So that you, as a detailer, when you come in and you clean this, and let's say you remove some additional material in the cleaning process, they don't come back in and say, hey man, you wrecked my steering wheel, like you got to replace that. You're like, well, no, that was already happening. So this, and I never just assume anything. I always want to clarify with my customers, which is why I often say communication is king. So this is in the context of minimizing the risk, so that you need to address that. Next step is, and by the way, that material can be found in many types of cars. Like in some of the older Mercedes, it will be found around this area here by the light switch. There's other areas of the dash that it may be found. On this particular car, it's a 2013 C-Class. So dirt will start to accumulate here. This is a chick's car. She wears makeup, lotions, that type of stuff. It begins to wad up on this. So how do you clean it? Because that's the next part of the equation, is how do you finesse this? Because that is what you're going to be required to do, is finesse this so that you don't make a problem that's already in place, make it worse. But you want to clean it so that Johnny customer is also happy. Now, if you're just a car owner and you're here watching this video, I'm going to show you what I do, and it's all about finessing with the right chemicals and the right tools. So here we have the steering wheel, and what do you do about this moment? Well, I'll show you what I do. I've got my microfiber cloth. That's always my go-to cloth. I've got my simple green diluted down 10-to-1. That is my go-to product currently for interior detailing. Now I spray the cloth and then I finesse the moment. It's not going to require a whole lot of scrubbing or whatever, because all I'm dealing with is basic body oils, lotions, makeup, that type of stuff. And because I want to finesse this so that I don't tear off more of this already in process damaging effect where this material is peeling up from the steering wheel. Now you might be asking, is there a solution to that, Darren? Well, there is no fix for it. Maybe what you could do is peel it off entirely, except the substrate is black, it's not brown, so there would be trade-offs on that. Plus there's a lot of area here to cover, so that's just one of those things you're probably just gonna have to live with. I actually tried to take this in when the car was brand new, or it had begun to first happen and the dealer would not warranty this, which I think is pretty crappy of Mercedes. You know, it's like, hey, Mercedes, I know this is a problem. I've detailed so many cars, same with BMW. Either change the material or warranty the steering wheel. Do something, but that sucks. So right there, I was just able to clean off very easily by finessing it, solution on the cloth, and then you just go around and do that. Now the steering wheel itself, that's a whole different can of worms, and I'm not going to address that today. So, and I'm not even sure how guys would search, because I guarantee there's a lot of car owners that are out there searching as to possible fixes or explanations for when this material bubbles up and starts peeling and blistering. Blister in the sun. That is an obscure reference to an 80s song. Yes, I'm a byproduct of the 80s. So I don't know how they're going to be searching for that. The point is dealer's not going to cover it. You could get an upholstery repair guy to possibly finesse this and fix it, but it's just going to be one of those things that you're going to have to live with. But how do we clean the steering wheel without doing additional damage that's going to happen naturally anyways? That's how I deal with it. So with that said, leave me your comments. Let me know some of the cars that you guys have come across in dealing with this. So two things. One, do you make it a point to address these types of issues with your customer? And if you're not, hopefully that's the takeaway, is that you need to do that, because you will be surprised at what people, as in customers, do not notice that you as a detailer think is a glaring obvious. Never, ever assume. Always verify. So I would pull my customer in and say, hey, look is what's going on. I just want to make sure that you're aware of that. But let's say you come across a situation that you didn't do that with the customer because you didn't notice it at the beginning yourself. That's where I stop all work. I pull the customer out. Now the goal is that you've established enough trust at the beginning that when you pull them out and have to show them another part of their car, maybe it's on the dashboard somewhere else, who knows what, and you have to say, hey, I just want to bring your attention to a problem that's already in place. I don't want to be blamed for it moving forward after I leave. I just want you to be aware of it. I'm going to do my best to clean around it, not make it worse, whatever that situation is, but you need to address it. Do not leave things unspoken. It is better to just deal with it head on, because I promise you that not only will you build trust, but it'll prevent problems from springing up against you in the future. So leave me those comments. Let me know. How do you deal with that? Do you specifically deal with it with a customer beforehand? Have you come across this type of material? How do you explain it to the customer? Those are various things. Point is I would be curious on your feedback, as well as guys coming in after the fact that are beginners. They're just trying to learn. How do you deal with it that possibly they could learn from? If you like what you see, by all means, give it a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe, more power to you. And if you want to get the alerts every time I upload a new video, just hit the little bell icon after you hit the subscribe button. With that said, we will see you on the next video.